Father Larry, you look out over the folks at Mass, and you
I
see...
can do that. This
you
is
can
my
do that?
church, you know.
can do that.
It's a very nice church. Isn't it a beautiful church? It's very nice.
He insisted that we do these segments.
See
here
that back
in
altar?
his
It is
parish.
from Germany, Cologne, Germany, just so you know. Go ahead. What were you saying?
So you look out over here, and you can probably tell if the wife or the husband is involved, but the other one isn't. I had a woman ask me, my husband only goes to church because he says it pleases me. I want him to go for his own sake. Should I just say, you don't have to come?
Wow. I would sit there and think at least they're there. You know, again, I'm always pushing towards relationship, but at least if they're there, something can happen. A seed can be planted. At least if they're there,
You could even say something profound in a homily.
Could you even imagine? You know, and sometimes it just being present is so important for so much. And again, even when I talk about, you know, only come if you're in love with Jesus. But if you're coming for you're in love with your family, that's a good beginning. You know, and God can build on that. Again, one of the basic theological principles is grace builds on nature. You know, and so the spiritual always builds on the natural. So if you're there, well, at least now the spiritual can have something to build on. If you're not there, but again, often when, especially when it comes to women, because again, people call my radio show, you know, and they'll sit there and they'll say,
he always gets that plug in about every other segment.
That's what I'm trying. But the reality, they'll sit there and say, how do I get my husband, or doesn't go to church is the bigger thing. How do I get them to go? And I say, well, you can't push them, because the more you push them, the more they're going to stay away. But if you pray for a man to come into his life who knows the Lord, that'll then challenge him to go, men respond to men quite well. You know, and so that's usually a way. So I say, so again, if they're coming with you, great, keep them coming. But you should also pray for God to bring a man into their life that really can mentor them and can really challenge them to grow. And that's why, again, if you get men to go, hey, why don't you go to like a Cursillo? You know, the Cursillo, they have that up in your diocese. You know, and so they make the men go first before the wives can go on purpose, because wives usually always want to go to that, but not the men. And the men usually go to please their wives.
That's true.
And then when they go to please their wives, then they become on fire for God. You know, so it's okay if that's the way they go. But often I think that what men need is men's conferences, Cursillo, Christ Renews His Parish, That Man Is You, some kind of program with other men that are going to help them catch on fire for Christ and the faith.
Would you say that any spouse would be better off saying something like, I love that you're with me?
Oh, that's
or, I'm so
great.
happy
That's
here
why
with
you're
me
married and
the
I'm
kids."
not.
Yeah.
That's great.
My wife,
I like that.
My
That's
wife
the first thing I ever heard him say. It's great. Yeah. I don't know if he's ever said that to his
My
wife.
wife does say to me, Ray, I do like that you're with me sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I think that'd be the greatest thing, absolutely, if that if they're doing it for you. I mean, again, it's at least there.
Rather than pointing out, I sure wish you would do this for your own sake and
Sure.
not for me.
Again, why? Why even bring that kind of stuff up? All it does is causes more problems than necessary.
Okay. So we talk in the church about imperfect contrition. This would be, could you say, imperfect attendance?
Absolutely. Oh, he's just filled with them, isn't he now? Oh, now he's going to start telling jokes. Run!
One final question.
Okay.
In your experience, how often do you see someone come to embrace something like the Mass, the spiritual life, more prayer, because they started out with some other motive?
Sure.
I'm Italian and I always just went to church and that's the way it is, so I go to church.
Sure. Or I entered seminary because I was afraid of dying. It wasn't because I was in love with Jesus. You know, when I was young, that was the thing. It was an imperfect, but God purified that, huh? And so I think almost everybody comes with imperfect intentions. And then God can build on those intentions.
So God takes our imperfections, and as our Lord says, He perfects them.
Absolutely. As long as we continue to grow, and as long as we're open. Openness is so important.
Okay, one final question. In your experience, can you, this is going to be tough, can you put a time limit on what you've seen for folks to come around to
Yeah.
a more loving, perfect motivation?
No.
Okay, I didn't think you could. I didn't think you could.
Isn't it amazing? Someone said that God waits to the end of a person's life to judge somebody on purpose, you know, so that we never know when people come to Christ at different times. And, you know, it's just amazing. Some people do it early in life, some people do it late in life, some people do it in the middle of life. Who knows? We just got to trust God and grace and keep praying for people.
So when I kneel in that pew and I watch people go up to receive the Eucharist, and I'm thinking to myself, well, he doesn't look like he understands what this is. He doesn't look like he's holy enough in attending this. I better watch myself.
You better, because you're focused on that person instead of Jesus, and you're not even close to what God's calling you to do then.
I don't want to end on that one.
Too late.